the style of class we're doing today. So today is a new moon flow. And when the new moon comes, sometimes we can feel a little bit low in energy. When the moon is dark, it can cause us to be dark and want to go into ourselves and not be too social. So you want to spend some time doing a lot of self-care and just taking some time for yourself to set intentions and plant seeds for the month ahead, when hopefully they'll come to fruition for the full moon. This moon is in Pisces, so it's a moon to dream and believe. So it's kind of intuitive and very emotional. So this moon, we're going to say, I believe in myself. It's going to be our mantra. So just come sit onto your mat in an easy seat. And we'll just start with a little centering. So bring your hands onto your knees, palms can turn in. And just allow the eyes to close down. Just doing a little breathing technique. So breathe in slowly for 3 seconds. Inhale 3, 2, 1. And exhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 3, 1, 2, 3. And exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 3, 2, 1. And exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. Inhale 3, 2, 1. And exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Just let go of any control over the breath and keeping the eyes closed, breathing in and out at your own pace. Just in and out through the nose and noticing the energy in your body. Is there anywhere you feel any tension? Just send some breath there and try and let that tension go. Just letting go of anything you have to do later today, and any thoughts pop into your mind, just notice them and let them go. So keeping your eyes closed, I want you to think of an intention for this practice. It can also be your intention for this new moon, as each new moon is like a mini new year. So you can start again every month. Just something that you want to have more of in your life, or something you want to create or manifest. Maybe it's more positivity, more joy, less stress, just anything. It's totally your choice. And just think on this intention and imagine planting it in the ground. And hopefully it will grow and come into fruition by the full moon. So gently allow your eyes to open. We'll come at the back of the mat in a kneeling position. So if you want, and you have blocks or a cushion, You can also always put your block under your bum or a cushion. It makes it a little more comfy. And from here, we'll take the hands down to the mat and do a quick child's pose. Hands out towards the top of your mat. Forehead comes to meet the mat. The knees are closed in this one. And just breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. For this moon practice, your breath doesn't have to be strong like in more of a sun style practice. It has to be more cooling. So just allow the breath to come and go. On an inhale, walk your hands over towards the left and just stretch into the side. So notice your right side body is nice and long, but also trying to keep the right side body long too. So if it's kind of crunched in, walk your right hand out a little further, keeping the length in both sides. Forehead can touch the ground. Breathing here. Sending the breath down to the right hip. And on an inhale, take it back to the center and over to the right hand side. The left side body's getting a nice stretch. And making sure that the right side body is also nice and long. Breathing into it. And send the breath down to the left hip. So just take it back to center. And slowly slide your hands back towards your knees and tuck your chin and roll up to kneeling. So in the sun salutation practices, they say the sun sees your body, but the moon sees your soul. So the sun is very energetic and masculine energy, more the yang side of the practice. Whereas the moon is the feminine energy, it's the more yin side and more kind of chilled out. So we always move to the left side body on the moon and the right side first on the sun. So this will be our Tadasana or Samasthiti, the standing posture normally in the sun salutations. For our moon salutations, it's going to be nice and easy on our knees. So on an inhale, we can sweep the arms up, looking forward. And exhale, take the hands down to the mat, slide it down for a child's pose. Inhale, take it up to tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And exhale, tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. If this is your first downward facing dog of the day, you can take any little movements you want to. Maybe pedal out the feet, shimmy the hips from side to side. Just breathing and noticing your hands and feet in contact with the earth. So our hands are shoulder width distance apart, the fingers are spread, index fingers pointing forward, knuckles grounding into the mat, forearms are firmed in, nice length through the side body, the hips are up and back. You can bend your knees if you need to keep your spine straight. Your heels are energetically grounding down towards the earth. So in our downward facing dog, you can almost imagine that your arms are growing out of your hips. So you want one long straight line from your hips all the way down to your hands. Inhale here and come up onto the balls of the feet and lower the knees back down to our tabletop. And exhale, take it back to child's pose. And inhale, back up onto our kneeling position. So that is one Chandra Namaskar or moon salutation. We'll do one more like that. Inhale, sweep the arms up, looking forward. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, slide it out for child's pose. Inhale, take it up to tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Taking any movements you want. Maybe you feel like lifting one leg up and back, opening the hip and making knee circles. Or maybe you feel like just staying still. If you lift one leg, please lift the other two so you're nice and balanced. And placing the leg back down if you did. Just noticing if anything has changed or shifted. Inhale here and exhale. Come up onto the balls of the feet and lower it back down to tabletop. And take it back to child's pose. And inhale, tuck the chin and roll up to our kneeling position. So adding on, inhale, sweep the arms up, look forward. Exhale, take it down to child's pose. Inhale, come up to tabletop. Exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back. Point the toes, keep the hips closed. And exhale, bring the left foot forward to replace the left hand. Lower the back right knee down. And you can, if you have blocks, you can stay up on your blocks, nice and supported here for our low lunge or Anjaneyasana. Or if you want, you can interlace the fingers and bring them across the left thigh and come up a bit more straight up. Inhaling here. Knee is over ankle. Left foot's on the left side of the mat. Right knee is on the right side. Shoulder blades roll back and down the back. Looking forward. The ribs and navel draw in. And just breathing here. This is our Anjaneyasana, our low crescent lunge. It's a nice hip flexor opener, so you should feel this on your right hip flexor. So today we're going nice and easy. Maybe you're only giving it like 80% of your full energy. Just holding back a little. If you had blocks, move them out of the way and take it back to a tabletop. Here we'll take some cat-cow. So on an inhale, tilt the tailbone up, lift the chest through the arms, drop the belly and look up. And on an exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone around the upper back for cat. Inhaling up for cow. And exhaling, pushing the mat away, rounding the back, shoulder blades are wide, cat. Just go at a few more at your own pace, inhaling up, looking up. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin around the spine. So today, because the Pisces moon is all about intuition, I'm going to guide you, but I want you to use your own breath and really feel into your own body and choose the best options for you. On an inhale, tuck the toes and lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right foot up and back. And exhale, bring the knee into the chest and replace the right hand with the right foot. Right foot tracks to the right side of the mat. Left knee is on the left. You can use your blocks here. You can just chill out here if you're happy. If you want a little more, you can interlace the fingers and take them around the right upper thigh. Squaring off the hips, squaring off the shoulders to the front of the mat, looking forward. Inhale here and exhale. Maybe go a small bit deeper. Feeling that stretch in the left hip flexor. Ribs and navel are drawn in towards the spine. Chest is lifted. Just feeling into where you can feel the stretch in your body. If you're on your blocks, just move them out of the way and take the hands back down to frame the right leg. Shift the right knee back to our tabletop position. Inhaling up for our cow and exhaling back to cat. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. One more like that. Inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. And exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone around the upper back. Inhale it back up. And exhale. From our angry cat, slowly slide the fingers back towards your knees and take the hands up onto the hips. Bring the hands down to the lower back. Put your fingers facing up. Imagine your elbows are pulling in together and you want to lift your chest up to the sky. Inhaling, looking up. So the hips are pushing forward and the chest is lifted and your elbows are trying to draw back together. Inhale here and exhale. Engage the glutes. If you have any pain in your lower back at all, please back out. Here we're opening the chest rather than back bending. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift the chest looking forward, and exhale, lower the hips down to the heels, back to our kneeling position. We'll do one more like that, adding on a little. Inhale, sweep the arms up, looking forward. Exhale, take the hands to the mat and bring it down to child's pose. Inhale, take it up through tabletop. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the left leg up and back, and exhale, bring it forward to replace the left hand and lower the back knee down for Anjaneyasana. You can stay here or you can stay on your blocks, totally your choice. This is your practice, or if you want a little extra, you can sweep the arms up overhead, looking up, and really stretch the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders back behind your head, opening into the chest. Breathe in and exhale, lower it down into the left knee a little deeper. Inhale here and take any movements you want with your arms. So maybe you want to bring it out to cactus and sweep it back forward, up overhead, back behind, and back into cactus. Inhale forward and up, and exhale. Bring the shoulder blades together down the back And cactus arms. Inhale, come forward and plant the hands inside the left foot for a lizard lunge. If you're okay here, you can stay up on your palms of your hands. If you want a little less, you can stay up on blocks. The left knee is bent 90 degrees, knees over the ankle. And our left foot and right knee are on train tracks on the mat. Hips are closed, squared towards the front of the mat. If you want a little more, you can take it down onto the forearms. Just feeling that stretch in the left glute and the right hip flexor. And really noticing where you feel this in the body today. Taking the time to pay attention. Sometimes it's nice to slow it down. And just because we're going slower and softer, it doesn't mean it's much less effort. Just gives your body more time to tune into what's going on. Inhale, slide the hands back under the shoulders. We're there already, and take your left knee back to meet your right for tabletop. And from here, we'll do more cat-cows, inhaling, tilting the tailbone up, chest lifts up, and exhale, tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone. Just go at your own intuition, whatever movements you want to take in your body. Maybe you want to add in more of a figure eight, getting the shoulders and the hips involved. Inhaling when the tailbone is lifted and exhaling when the tailbone is tucked. If you're taking circles, switch it back and go the other way. It's really waking up the spine. Maybe you want to add in the child's pose to this move. So from your cow, you can take the hips back and down to child's pose. And then inhaling back up with the spine rounded for our cat. And exhaling it back to cow and tilting the hips back down to the feet for child's pose. Exhale. A few more at your own breath. Inhaling up and exhaling to go back. On your next inhale, find stillness in your tabletop and tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. On an inhale, lift your right foot up and back and bring that knee into the chest and replace the right hand with the right foot, lowering the back knee down for our Anjaneyasana. You can stay on your blocks. If that's enough, you can interlace the fingers and support yourself on your front knee, or you can sweep the arms overhead and stretch them back behind you, opening up the chest like a proper stretch. Saturday morning stretch. Might even feel nice to get the right fingers in around the left wrist and pull your left hand back. And then switch, bring the left fingers around the right wrist and pull that back. You can stay like this, or if you want some more movement, you can sweep the arms out in front and put them up and back, bending the elbows for your cactus arms, opening up the chest. Inhale, lean forward, sweep the arms up and back, and exhale back. Inhale and exhale back. Nice mindful movements in the body. Taking what you want and leaving what you don't. Inhale, come back up, lengthen the spine, and place the hands down inside the right foot. You can use your blocks here for extra support, or you can take it further and bring the forearms down onto the mat for lizard lunge. So your right knee is over your right ankle. Toes are pointing to the top of the mat. Your left knee is on the left side of the mat. Feeling the stretch in the right quad and the left hip flexor. Inhale here. Exhale. And just feel the strength of your right foot grounding into the mat. And imagine you're trying to pull your right knee, your right foot and your left knee towards one another. And just feel how that kind of changes the position. Maybe you feel like your inner thighs are more engaged now. On an inhale, plant the hands under the shoulders and come back up to more straight spine, and bring your right knee back to meet the left for our tabletop. And we'll do some more cat-cow undulations here. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, and exhaling, pushing the mat away, rounding the upper back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift the chest through the arms, lift the tailbone, and exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. If you want to add in the child's pose, when you're in your cow, bring the hips back down onto the feet, and then press it back up to the cat pose, rounded upper back. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, take it back to child's pose. Just taking the movements you want for your body. And you find some stillness in your tabletop. Take it back to the angry cat, rounding the upper back. And maybe make your cat even angrier, so tenting up onto your fingertips, really getting some height in the upper back. And slowly slide the hands back to the knees, making sure your knees are under your hips. Your feet are strong on the mat. You can take the hands to the lower back again and press the elbows and shoulder blades together, lifting the chest, looking up. Breathe into the lower back. If you feel any pain, please back off straight away. Inhale, tuck the chin and come back up onto your knees. If you want to, take it a little further. If you have blocks and you want to play, you can put them on the inside of your feet. And take the hands back to the lower back. Inhaling, bringing the elbows together, lifting the chest. And then bring the hands onto your blocks. Actually, the outside of the feet is probably a bit easier. And your supported camel. Chest lifts up towards the sky. So more of a chest opener than a back bend. Ustrasana. So it's not really about how far back you go, it's more about how high and lifted your chest is. Inhale here. And exhale, tuck the chin, come back up to straight. And lower onto the knees, the hips back onto the feet. Bring the hands onto the knees and round the spine and push your knees away. Just as a quick counter. From this position, imagine breathing into the right back side of your body, the right back ribs all the way down to the right hip. Breathe in deeply and send the air there. Empty it out. Same on the left. Breathe in deeply. Send the air from the shoulder blade down to the left hip and empty it out. And then both together at the same time, breathing in deeply. Imagining if you had wings on your shoulder blades that your breath is trying to make them open out. And exhaling, closing your wings. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. From here on, tuck the chin and straighten the spine. And slide the hands out in front. Your child's pose, forehead meets the mat. Inhale, come up to tabletop and tuck the toes. Lift your outer hips up and back for a downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to go into a seated position. And you can get there any way you want. You can jump through to sitting, or you can just simply walk your hands and cross them so that or walk your feet and cross your right foot over to your left hand, and your left foot comes behind it, and you can just bend your knees and easily sit down. So from here, the knees are bent and the feet are planted into the mat. You can stay here or bring the forearms under the knees and hug the thighs, upper thighs into the ribs. Breathe here and keeping that connection, you can start to slide your feet out in front. So keeping your ribs and thighs connected. Eventually, maybe straightening the legs or keeping that bend in the knees. So you're trying to hold back a little today and maybe not go to your full flexibility. If you want, you can release the hands from under the knees and bring the forearms down in line with the shins. Inhaling here and exhaling. Keeping the spine nice and long. So inhale to breathe length between each vertebrae. And exhale, fold more. You can catch onto the outer side of the feet if it's available to you. If not, just keep your palms planted on either side of your legs. Inhaling to lengthen and exhale to fold deeper. Chin, imagining your chin one day reaching your shin. If you're maybe finding it hard to hold back from going to your full flexibility, it might be nice to tuck a block or a blanket or a cushion, whatever you have, between your thighs and your belly so that you're kind of forced to not go all the way. Sometimes maybe we don't know when to not push ourselves so hard. Inhaling here and exhaling, just being here in this posture. Inhale, release the connection between your thighs and your ribs. And slowly roll down onto your back, making sure you've space behind you. Plant the feet on the mat so your shins are straight. Knees are over the ankles. And like you want to make a footprint in the mat. Ground into your feet. Spine is nice and long. Head is neutral. So push into your feet and lift the hips slowly up off the mat, trying to get your hips higher than your knees. Keep your palms planted on the mat. Strong feet. Inhaling here. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Lower it down. From here, hug the knees into the chest. Stay here for a breath. You can keep the knees together or keep them apart, your choice. Take the option that feels best for you. Cross the ankles and slowly rock yourself backwards and forwards to come up to a seated position. And when we come to our seat, our legs are straight out in front. Bend the left knee and hug it into your chest. Drop the left knee out to the left and bring the sole of the foot to the inside of your right thigh, pressing your foot into your thigh and your thigh back into your foot. For Janu Shirshasana, so it literally means knee to head pose or head to knee pose. So inhale here. You can also, if you have any pain in your left knee, you can put a block under it to support it or a blanket. Inhale to lengthen the spine. That right foot is flexed. And exhale, slide your hands towards your right foot. You want to keep the spine nice and straight here so you're not rounding like this, keeping nice graceful length in the side body and the spine. Maybe if you have a strap here, it can be useful to hook it around the right foot and keep your spine straight while lowering yourself down. If you don't have a strap, you can get the same kind of feeling if you tent up your fingers and press your arms straight, keeping the spine nice and long, and then exhaling, bending the elbows, maintaining that straight spine as you lower down. Inhale here, exhale. If you have the space available in your body and you have hold of your right foot, kind of imagine like you're plugging your right hip bone back into the socket. So you're kind of pulling your foot. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to go deeper. So because the new moon is all about going into ourselves, we have a lot of forward folds in the practice today as we fold into ourselves. Going deeper into our bodies and really trying to tune in to how everything feels rather than just doing for the sake of a result or a workout, but really just coming into your body and noticing how it feels. On an inhale, take your right hand either to your calf, your shin, or if you can grab the inside or the outside of your foot. And inhale, take your left arm up and over. Sweep it back behind you and take it to the low back. If you can reach around and grab your inner right thigh crease for a twist. Opening into the left shoulder. Look over the left shoulder and keep that length in the spine, and the right side ribs are nice and long too. So inhaling the length into the spine and exhale to twist. From here, release the grip of your right hand and just find a spot that your right hand is nice and comfy on the inside of your right leg, and sweep the left arm up, looking up at the fingers. You can stay here, or if you want, you can bend the left elbow and take your left hand to support your head. If you maybe get headaches or migraines, this can feel nice to support the head. Inhaling here, exhale. You can imagine reaching the left ribs up towards the sky, and your left elbow, if your hand is bent, is kind of moving back and forth like an antenna searching for a signal. You can play with tucking the chin, moving it, just seeing where it feels the best for you. Using your intuition and making this your practice. On an inhale, come up to straight and take the arms out to a T. If you had a block underneath the knee, you can move it out of the way and take the left hand about a foot behind you. Really press into that left hand, and like you're trying to plug your shoulder bone into its socket. Press in and lift up, pressing into the feet, and sweep the right arm up and back. So your left foot is like a kickstand and your right foot is pointing forward. And you can sweep your right arm kind of over and back. Just taking any movement you want. And strong left hand on the mat. So this is a variation of the wild thing or flip dog pose we did the other day. So it's just an easier kind of modified, more chilled version of it. Inhale to lift the chest and the hips towards the ceiling. And then exhale, sit it back down. So your left foot is still bent into your right thigh. And inhale, look to the left-hand corner of your mat, and exhale, fold over. Keeping that straight spine. So you're folding between your left knee and your right foot. Inhale to create the length, and exhale to go deeper. Inhale, come back up to sitting, and hug the knees into the chest, and we'll roll back down onto our backs. So from here you have your two options again. You can keep the knees in together, or you can take them out wide. Whatever feels the best for you. Just breathe and reset, and then take the feet down to plant them on the mat. Feet hips width distance. We'll press into the heels and take it up for our bridge pose again. Setu Bandhasana, inhaling up. Hips come up higher than the knees if possible. Really engaging the glutes. If you want, you can shimmy the shoulders in a little, but keep the palms on the mat. And take the hands to the hips and just kind of give them a little massage here. Checking out that they're feeling good. Inhale, maybe take it a little higher, and exhale, slowly lower it down. Inhale, hug the knees in, and exhale, cross the ankles and roll up to sit. So we'll take our Janu Shirshasana on the right leg. I'll just spin around so you can see better. So the left leg is out straight, the right knee comes in to bend into the right armpit. The right sole of your foot is in contact with the left thigh. You can support that knee if it's hovering and it's uncomfortable. Inhale here, and exhale, keeping your length in the spine, fold over. So from here, you're not trying to fold over your left knee or shin. You're actually trying to get your nose into the middle here, so that if your face were to come all the way down, your left cheek would be on the inside of your left calf. You can use your strap to pull yourself, creating the length, and exhale to fold. You can tent up onto your fingers, get that same height, and bend at the elbows to lower down. Nice stretch into the left outer hip. And the hamstring. Inhale here and bring your left hand to the inside of your left calf or foot, and sweep the right arm up and open, and take it back down to the lower back, opening into your right shoulder. If you can take the right arm into the left hip crease for the bind, or if not, just keep it on the low back. And really flirt that right shoulder open and back, looking over the right shoulder. Inhale to keep the length in the spine and the left side body. Crown of the head reaching up. Inhale here and exhale. Release the left hand somewhere where it's nice and comfy. Play around. Find your spot. And inhale. Sweep the right arm up and look up, keeping your length. And if you want, support the head with the right hand behind the head. You can press the head into the hand and the hand back into the head. And you can kind of circle your right elbow around like you're trying to get a signal with rabbit ears. I think we all remember them. Play with tucking the chin, kind of twisting the head, and just finding the spots that feel good for you. You can kind of use your left elbow to press into your left knee or thigh, whatever it's making contact with, to kind of straighten your spine, especially on the left side body, and get a nicer stretch. From here, inhale, rise back up and take the arms out to a T. Place the right hand behind you about a foot. And strong right arm plugging into your right shoulder. Press into the arm and press into the knee. The right knee and the right foot are strong. The left foot is also strong, and lift your hips and chest up. You can sweep the left arm up overhead and kind of sway yourself like you're dancing or like you're pushing something over your head away. It should feel really nice in the upper back. Inhale, take it back down to the mat. And look towards the right hand corner of your mat. Inhale, straighten the spine up. And exhale, fold over the space between your right knee and your left foot. Keeping your left foot nice and flexed. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to fold. Maybe while you're here, come back to your intention for the practice. The intention that you set at the beginning. Just thinking about it, bringing it back into your mind's eye. Inhale, tuck the chin and come back up to seated. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest and take it back down to your mat. So you have your options here. Hug the knees in, keeping them together. You can take them out to the side. Or if you'd like a happy baby, flex the feet towards the ceiling. And your hands hold on to the outside edges of your feet. Your knees are bent. Try and bend at the elbows and hug your knees into your armpits for happy baby. So you want to keep your spine on the mat, your low back grounding into the mat. Working on pulling the knees down into the armpits. Inhale, take the knees back together if they weren't already. And exhale, plant the feet on the mat, hips width distance. Planting the palms next to the hips, ground into the feet, and we'll lift up into our bridge or Setu Bandhasana. Hips lift up high, strong feet. Knees are pushing in together so they're not splaying out or splaying in, but directly over your ankles. If you have a block, you can put one in between your thighs. If you don't, you can still just get the same feeling by just imagining it. Imagine your inner thighs are trying to roll the block up towards the ceiling to really engage the inner thighs. If you want, you can shimmy the shoulders in under and interlace the hands underneath the glutes and lift the hips higher. Really strong feet. Imagine that someone, well, maybe a child was going to come and sit on your hips. Inhaling to lift a little higher. And exhale, release the clasp of the hands if you had it and lower the hips slowly down to the mat. Remove a block if you had it. And inhale, hug the knees into the chest. Taking your option of knees together, knees wide, or happy baby. If you're in happy baby, you can play with maybe rocking from side to side. So you lean over onto your right side and straighten your right leg and inhale back to center. Exhale, lean over onto the left side and straighten the left leg out and kind of use that motion to rock yourself from side to side. Keeping the feet flexed towards the ceiling. You can also choose just to stay still and work on pulling the knees into the armpits. Inhale, bring the knees back to center, and exhale, plant them back down onto the mat, the soles of the feet. Hips width distance. Now we press up into our bridge pose again. Strong glutes, strong feet. You can imagine the weight is in the heels, so you could even lift your toes and still hold the pose. Really engaging the glutes. Getting the shoulders and hands involved if you want. If you want to take it a little easier, you can bend your elbows and rest your hand under each glute, so you're kind of supporting yourself with your hands. You can also use a block to do that as you just shimmy it in under your hips and rest on the block under your lower back. If you're still up holding your bridge pose, just play with coming onto the toes just to see how that feels. Inhale to lift the heels and come onto the balls, and exhale, lower it down. If the hands are clasped, release the hands without slingshotting them, and exhale, lower the spine down. Inhale, hug your knees into your chest. And if you are staying still here, you can take a waterfall pose so the feet are flexed and pointing up to the ceiling. If you find that you're rocking from side to side, then you'll want to take a twist. So on an inhale, bring the right knee across the left. Take the arms out to a T, and exhale. Shift your hips over to the right as you lower the knees over to the left side. You can take your gaze over to the right. And this time you can play with the right arm, so kind of sweep it up and down. Just find a nice spot where it feels good in your body. Inhaling and exhaling. You can bring your left hand onto your left ribs. And just feel as you inhale, your ribs expand. And as you exhale, shrink. If you want more of an adjustment, you can slide that left hand down to just below your hip crease on your upper thigh and kind of push your thigh a little bit down. Working to keep your right shoulder grounded on the mat. If you were in the waterfall pose, you can take it down and take the figure 4. So your right knee is bent, your right foot is bent over your left knee, reaching through and threading the needle and pulling your left thigh into your chest, and then switch it over to the left in your own time. If you're in the twist, we'll take it over to the other side. So the left knee crosses over the right. Shift the hips to the left and drop the knees over to the right hand side. Take your gaze over to the left and play around with that left arm, sweeping it up and down and finding a spot. It feels good. Maybe you take your right hand to your right hip, right ribs, and feel the breath moving in and out of the body. Maybe you slide it down to the thigh and push your left thigh down, keeping the left shoulder grounded on the mat. If you're in your figure 4, come back, and if you're in your twist, come back and hug the knees into the chest. Taking your options here again of keeping the knees together, the knees wide, your happy baby, or your rocking happy baby. And your happy baby working to draw the tailbone down to the mat as the knees come into the armpits. Feet are flexed. Inhale, bring the knees together, and exhale, rock up to sitting. We'll take it out wide-legged on the mat. Can be nice to sit up on a block or a blanket here to raise the hips up higher. Just take your feet out as wide as you can. So from here, long straight spine. Inhale, you can tilt your pelvis forward. Notice how different that feels, and then exhale, tilt it back. And just play with this kind of rocking motion, inhaling and exhaling. So when your pelvis is next tilted forward, so anterior pelvic tilt, slide your hands out in front of you. You can, of course, come up on blocks here or tent the fingers up. Use your blocks to rest your elbows on. From here, play with your feet. So some schools say flex the feet, some say point the feet, and some floint the feet. So a floint is like half pointed, half flexed, like a Barbie foot. So the toes are pointed while the rest of the foot is flexed. And then just play around with whichever option feels good for you, and stick with that. And if you want to take it out further, you can walk your hands out further, folding down further. You can take your block out further in front of you and rest the forearms on your block. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to fold deeper. So with each inhale, you want to grow tall and long in your side body and your spine. And with each exhale, imagining the chest moving closer towards the ground. On an inhale, bring the hands down to the floor and come up halfway, and exhale, come up all the way. Might want to shake the legs a little, rock them, take any movement you want to make it feel better. Quite intense on the inner thighs. So move if you had a blanket or a block behind you, move it out of the way. And if you have sensitive knees, you might want to roll each side of your mat in just maybe twice, or you can use a blanket under your knees. We'll take Manduka Asana. So I might just turn sideways, easier for you to see. So you bring your knees onto the mat wide, kind of like we just were, and then your feet are flexed. So you've got a 90-degree bend between your knee and your thigh. Your hips are over the knees. And you can stay up here on your palms, or you can try and come down onto the forearms. Now you don't want to be too far forward because you're not really going to feel anything. Kind of want to push your hips back to the spot where you feel it. This is a very intense hip opener, so it's kind of like the pigeon pose we do, but both hips are opened at the same time. So you might have to breathe through it. Feel it on the inner thighs. One day, hoping maybe to get your chest fully on the ground, while your inner thighs also come down onto the ground. Frog pose. Breathing to it. And send the breath where it needs to go. On an inhale, bring the Hands back under the shoulders to come out, and lift the feet and bring the toes to touch, and then slide the knees in under the hips. Just rearrange myself. And then from there, we'll just take one Baddha just to ease out the inner thighs. So bring the feet, palms, soles of the feet to touch. If you take the feet further away, it'll be a little easier. If you take them closer in, it'll be a little more challenging. If you want to support the knees with your blocks, please do. If you feel any pain in your knees or hips here, just back off or don't do it. You can take child's pose instead. So on an inhale, you can hold on to the soles of your feet like you're opening a book. And exhale, fold forward, using your elbows to kind of press your knees down into the mat. It's like a self-adjust here. If you want to try another self-adjust in this pose, if we were in a real life class, the teacher might come around and with their hand like this, their fingers on the outside of your thigh and the thumb on the inside, they'd slide your thigh down and back. So that's the kind of motion you're going for here. You're not just pushing your knees down, but you're kind of opening your inner thighs and rolling them down and back. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold over. Pressing into the upper thighs and taking that roll. On an inhale, come up to straighten the spine and guide your knees together. And exhale, take it down onto the mat. Hug the knees in again, taking your option of knees in, knees wide, happy baby, or rocking happy baby. From here, bring the knees together and lower the legs down onto the mat for our final resting pose. So today, if you want a different option for your shavasana and you have blocks or a rolled up blanket will do either, you can place the blocks. So one is under your shoulder blades, kind of where your bra strap would go, and one is under your head. And bring the arms out wide and the legs out wide. If you don't have blocks and you have a blanket, you can get the same kind of feeling if you roll a blanket up and put it under in the same position. From the upper mid back up, creating height in the upper chest. Of course, if you want to just take your own regular normal shavasana, feel free to do so. Some people like to put a blanket under the knees to raise them up. Some people like to have the knees knock in or the butterfly feet, or keep the legs up a wall. If there's a wall near you, that would be more relaxing. Totally up to you and what feels best for you. Inhale here, so the feet are out wider than the mat, the arms are out wide, the palms are facing up. And just letting go of any control over the breath. Letting go of any control over any parts of the body. Relax the space in between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw if it's clenched. Relax the head and neck. Let it melt into your mat. Shoulder blades sinking into the mat. Whole spine is relaxed. Hips are heavy into the mat. Arms and legs, hands and feet completely relaxed. On your next inhale, slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Coming back to the breath. Taking some tiny movements with your fingers and toes. Rolling out the ankles and wrists. Bring the feet together to touch and sweep the arms up overhead. Hooking your thumbs, taking a big morning stretch. Inhale, exhale, let it go. On an inhale, roll over onto your left side. Hug the knees into the chest. Make a little pillow with your left upper arm. Take a few moments here to come back into your body. When you're ready, press into your right hand and find your way up to an easy seat, keeping the eyes closed. Bring the palms onto the thighs or the knees. Palms down, keeping all the nice energy into yourself. Spine is nice and straight. The shoulders are over the hips. And just noticing how you feel now compared to the beginning of the practice. How do you feel now compared to a few days ago? And come back to that intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. Bring your heart, hands at prayer pose to heart center, and think of that intention. And focus on your heart space. And just imagine a color. any color you want there. And you can reach out and touch the color and mold it into whatever shape you want. And just playing with that, making shapes. Create it into a picture frame. And write your intention on the frame. And then shrink that frame down so small it's like a postage stamp. And you can take that stamp and put it into your pocket and keep that intention with you for the rest of the day and the rest of the month. On an inhale, gently invite your eyes to open up and bring your prayer hands up to the space between your eyes. And exhale, bow down to the earth. Just take a moment here, thanking yourself for taking this time to look after you and your body. Inhale, come back up to seated. Exhale, take the hands back to the heart. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through your practice today. The love and light in me sees and honors the love and light in each and every one of you. Namaste.